welcome everybody. So it's very nice to be here. I've been research, which obviously has a long history of doing world-class research into Nobel Prizes. And accordingly, as you can see, our agenda today is a bit more in the research direction. So we have two exciting talks today. The first one will be a remote talk by Miao Liu and a.k.a. They will talk about learning to teach for collective intelligence. And then the second talk will be here by Miao Liu from my research here about reinforcement learning for disease-driven drug design. Yes, so as always, just to mention, if anybody would like to give a talk for a future event or host an event, please talk to us. Maybe in the apero, we'll have actually a quite nice apero afterwards, organized by the cafeteria here. And so yeah, we're looking forward to the talks, and let's start with the first one. I hope that you guys are online.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, let's start.
Okay, so let's start. Everyone, so I'm Miao Liu. I'm a research at IBM, in the US. And along with me are Dr. King, so he can also well, the title of our talk should be Teaching for Cognitive Intelligence, but here we just mention to something more general, reinforcement for robotics, to make it more explicit. Can you go to the next slide? Yes, this is like a joint project in this IBM and MIT Boston lab. So we have a group of team members who are focused on different aspects of this project. A little bit more about our background. So in the past 20 years, we see a lot of progress in AI, especially of applying reinforcement learning to many real-world problems. Especially for our teams, we have made some achievements, which includes designing the buzzing and the betting strategy in a Jeopardy game played by Watson, and it's able to beat against the best human performance in Jeopardy, as in 2011. And also we have a research team here, led by Jerry Tassaro, who used to use neural networks to design the policies to play backgammon game. It's also able to beat against best human performance 20 years ago. Also, we see a lot of the breakthroughs, especially from big minds for playing different games. And from MIT side, the team is more focusing on robotics and autonomous driving. So in our lab, we used to design drones and autonomous vehicles which are able to perform different tasks, including package delivery and also navigation in indoor environments. And also, the professor we collaborated with, they are more focused on this kind of, they used to focus on grand challenge supported by Java autonomous learning. So we're able to basically using reinforcement learning to learn the cooperation strategies that allow the agent to collaborate and also to avoid violation. Can we go to the next slide? So here is an example as we demonstrate our previous work applying reinforcement learning for indoor navigation. So the robots here basically using a sensor to locate its position in a map environment, and also using the LiDAR scan and the radios to detect pedestrians, and also taking to the information from the surrounding pedestrians and treat those as state information or observation. and then the robot is able to choose the speed and direction for driving the running environment without aligning with them and to achieve the goals. So this is like a pure autonomous system without any like a human, remote control stuff. So the driving policy is trained purely based on simulation and using deep reinforcement learning algorithms. And this is actually a well-mapped environment because it's indoor. Even though the dynamics is also complicated because of the human, but it's relatively easy to learn compared to more complicated scenarios, especially for outdoor environments. Can you go to the next slide? So normally we have good state to use reinforcement learning algorithm to train control policy. Normally we need to specify the observation space, the reward function, and also have some sense of dynamic information in terms of either capture samples or some kind of models. But in the outdoor environments, the dynamics can be very complicated and there are a lot of uncertainties, and these uncertainties usually cannot be modeled. So it poses a very challenging problem to basically our agent to navigate in environments with a lot of uncertainties. And especially even more challenging is that we want to basically allow a team of agents to collaborate in scenarios like providing medical care for victims in disaster scenarios like earthquake, for example. So this will actually poses more significant constraints in terms of forcing each agent to receive only local information, but also they need to collaborate to deliver the system to victims as soon as possible. So those are the challenges that motivate us to study the more advanced models that can allow multi-agents to learn and to collaborate. So with that, I will hand over to Donkey for more details about our technical breakthroughs in this area in terms of teaching of artificial intelligence.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Miao. So the motivation or concern here is a delivery task where a fleet of robots are delivering the packages to each house. So consider the scenario where there's a robot and it's trying to deliver a package to this house. Before we go into very details about vertical reinforcement learning, let me give a brief introduction of what it means by vertical reinforcement learning. In this simple scenario, we are considering two agents or two robots, and they are in a shared environment. And the way they interact with the environment is taking a joint action, action 1 and action 2. And by doing so, the environment changes, and the robots receive new observations and the reward. The objective of their trying to achieve is to learn joint pulses that select joint actions so that they can maximize cumulative shared reward, or means they are serving a joint task together. So coming back to the package delivery case again, the interesting scenario is that the robot might be experiencing some unexpected scenario where the tree has fallen down and it doesn't know what to do. But luckily there is another agent here and may be able to help you. And it may actually have an idea that, right, going this way is bad, but going around might be a better idea. So the question is, how can right robot can advise the left robot or share some knowledge? And by doing so, the benefit is that the robot is taking a corrected path and improving its performance to deliver a package. So in terms of overview, what we are interested in this research here is to enable the AI agent to learn how to coordinate, but at the same time, how they can share local knowledge in their agent system. As we will show later, the benefit is the following. The agent can have accelerated learning and can also have improved performance. And because the peers are teaching each other, we are avoiding the reliance on the external experts or correctors. But our problem is challenging because they have to decide what kind of knowledge to share, and they have to also decide when to ask for help. And also interesting is that they may have a number of constraints and also have a private concern, and they may not want to share their entire policy. So to give a further motivation, let me describe a scenario that you're interested in. And we say our approach as a learn to teach. So in this scenario, there are two agents, agent I and J again. And they are serving a task together, so we say it's a task learning policy. And agent I originally want to take this action. But you may not know whether this taking the upper action is a good action or not. So what it does is that it uses its action to request advice to agent J and asking, hey, I don't know what to do in this state. Can you help me? And agent J might have a teacher policy, and what it does is that it uses its teacher policy to advise action. And as a result, agent I is taking the advice action instead of taking the original action. And this kind of protocol can happen vice versa. So let me go a little bit deeper into the algorithm now. And the baseline we're considering is the task policies learning without any kind of sharing. So as a result, as agents learn, their joint values were encouraged as a learning keeps going. But now we have a asking and the teaching policies, and let me describe how we can improve the learning progress of the task policy by following two-phase approach. The first phase is to train the task policies from scratch. So by fixing the ask and teacher policies, on the next phase, we go to the next phase, where now we train the ask and teacher policies, but using task-level learning rates as a reward. And because the ask and teacher policies are trying to maximize its reward by iteratively doing that, the task-level policies learning progress is increasing. But some of the challenges we have to address was actually the so-called teacher parity assignment. Because we are learning this ask and teacher policies, they require the reward, which has to capture the impact of each device on the student learning progress. But actually we found out that this is very difficult to estimate. So that's why we had to come up with various kinds of the measures to estimate the learning progress thanks to the device. So the metric we show here is the various metrics that we use. And we found out that 3G, please refer to the paper, is the one that can actually measure pretty well. The other challenge we want to address was that about the communication. So we have to ensure and we have to consider the communication load, the bandwidth, and the privacy. So that's why our solution was to have the student and teacher framework, which is only the only communication they are employing one another is when to ask kids for advice, and when and what kind of action to advise the student. And because it is really more data to communicate, the communication is really low heavy, and also the privacy too. So we have the experiment to show the benefits of the knowledge sharing. As we show here, we consider two different kinds of the representation. One is the primitive, and the other is the hierarchy. And as we show, by having a different representation from red to green, we have to gain by having different representations. But at the same time, by sharing knowledge, we gain the data and the teaching, regardless of any kind of the representation you use. In terms of the numbers, what we heard most about was the fun and performance, and also the AUC to measure the rate of learning. And what we have shown in the paper is that learning how to teach and communicate or share knowledge is achieving the better performance and the sure skill teaching as shown by the paper. So we also did some of the robotics experiment to show some more benefit of knowledge sharing. In here we have 2 drones, and they are teamed up with a red and blue team. And what their task is to move a box together. So the red team is pushing the box together, the blue team is pushing the other box together. But here's another interesting case. Now the one agents are switching their position, and the videos will show shortly. So they're switching their, so they're mixing teams in the red and blue. The interesting part is that one team is sharing knowledge, and the other team is not sharing knowledge. When we share knowledge, we can see that even though they are in the new environment or new team, they can actually push the box. But if no sharing is done, they are consist of new teams and they don't know what to do. And as a result, the left team without sharing doesn't know how to push the box. So to summarize the contribution that we're trying to show here is we propose a first learning to teach framework. And we address the teacher credit assignment issue, and it does not require any kind of expert domain knowledge. And the key benefit that we're trying to show here is the accelerated learning program. And as a result, we have an improved mission and faster operating time, and of course, higher rates of success. The software application that we may consider is the first virtual assistant, manufacturing package delivery autonomous speakers, and also we may consider human and robot as another merging system, and we like to share knowledge between those human and robot teams. So thanks for listening to our talk.
Thank you very much.